to Weekday Word, which is part of Lovechurch Online. And my name's Jeff. I'm a member of the church here, a member of the prayer team, and also part of the hosting team. And I've been coming here to this church for several years now and enjoy it very much. I'd like to speak to you today about a verse that gets used a lot. And it's a very famous verse for some of you. And it's found in Isaiah chapter 40, verse 31, and it goes like this. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. Today I want to start this week off by trying to get us through three main stages of flying. At the end of the week, we are going to soar. And those three stages involve flapping, gliding, and, yes, as I mentioned, soaring. Now, have you ever taken a Bible verse before and twisted it into a negative? You know, all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. Oh, okay, I quit, I give up. I knew it was difficult. Oh, that's enough for me. No, not that type of negative. What I mean is if we take Isaiah 40, verse 31, and we flipped it into a negative, it would sound like this. For those who have lost hope in the Lord will lose their strength. They will flap and flutter like chickens. They will stop due to exhaustion, and they will burn out. Have you ever done that with a verse before? Because sometimes there's a lot to learn from that. Now, soaring. Soaring should be our goal. We should have a goal to soar like eagles. But if you've got some serious dose of fear deep within you, then you're not going to soar. This is probably the greatest factor that keeps us from soaring. Fear, too much of it, leads to hopelessness. Nike, where's that emblem? Right there, okay? They've sold millions of shoes and clothing, shirts, hats. They've got the market on sports gear. And they had a campaign many years ago, the Just Do It campaign. And their athletes, and particularly famous athletes that were doing these ads, they were invincible. They had no fear. Okay, Nike sold you the idea that you could do anything, just wear their products. You could even walk into Sports Direct today and find another clothing brand called No Fear. They must have stolen this concept from Nike. In the Bible, we come across some no-fear candidates, but we also come across some flappers. We think of Joseph, we think of David, and we look in the New Testament, we think of Peter. And all three of these guys spent a lot of time flapping before they ever realized what it was like to soar. Are you a risk taker? Or are you a failure avoider? Well, let me give you an analogy. Bungee jumping. So you show up because you're convinced that this is supposed to be a great, thrilling experience. And you have three choices. You've got the short 30, 40 meter little drop. You've got the 350 meter drop. And then you've got the drop from the height that is unbelievably high at the top of that gorge that's going to take you several seconds before you reach that bottom. You have three choices. The risk takers, hey, if it's all cost and relatively the same and you're only going to do this once, they go straight to plan C. They go for the top of the gorge. The failure avoiders, they probably don't show up at all. And then everybody else is somewhere in between. I'll give you a personal story. I love to downhill ski. I've taken my pupils that I teach on several ski trips. And we get to this big area, the snow park, where there's these three jumps. Actually, there's four. And the first one's very small, but it helps you build momentum to get over the second one. And the third one's got a huge platform on it, okay, a tabletop. And you've got to get enough speed to enable to clear that entire distance and hit the downslope. You never want to land on a flat when you're going off jumps. And then finally, there's the fourth one, which is bigger than the third one and ridiculously dangerous. Well, the pupils asked me when we got to the top of that, do you think you could do those? And I said, yeah, I could do the third one. Go for it, I dare you. That's all they had to say. So I did go for it. And to make a long story short, I ended up with another dislocated shoulder. When I say another, because on another ski trip, going over one of these great big jumps also caused a dislocated shoulder. So I'd have to put myself into the stupidity or the risk-taking crowd. Let's conclude today. Conclusion. One of the greatest risk-takers in the Bible must have been Peter. Had to be him. Why do I say this? Well, there's two main reasons I say this. One, he gave up a lucrative job. Now you think, fishing? What's so big about fishing? Well, if you read the scriptures carefully, when Jesus told him to come follow me, he left his father and he's left a group of servants that were working for his father. So his father's fishing business was doing very, very well. Secondly, is that Peter walked on water. That's why he's a risk taker. He's the only one that got out of the boat. So let's pray today. Let's firstly, this is the first prayer I'd like to say today for the listeners, is my prayer is that we all learn to take the risks, okay? Take the risks necessary to fully trust God, knowing, like Peter, that we'll probably still get distracted by the storms that are all around us and possibly even take our eyes off Jesus. But if we do fix our eyes on Christ, then we will experience what Isaiah was talking about, soaring like eagles. Risky, yes, but much to gain. Amen.